Hey kids, it's Mr. Fly here, hope you're well. Welcome back to the channel. Now, very exciting day, because just over there, out of shot, I've got a brand new motorcycle to reveal with you. Stick around and stay tuned, and I'll show it to you. Alrighty, now if you've watched my channel of late, you may have seen a video where I talked about which bike we should sell and what we should get rid of. Should it be the Goldwing, should it be the GS? We eventually decided the GS should go, then we changed our mind and decided the Goldwing should go. And the last video that you may have seen was actually filmed this morning, me taking the Goldwing for trade-in on the bike that's just sat over there. So lots of you predicted what you thought I might buy, so it'll be interesting to see if you were right or wrong. Lots of people said Multistrada, lots of people said GSA, and there were lots of other choices as well, so thank you for everybody that commented. But the bike I ended up getting, which won't be a surprise to some of you because many of you also thought of this, was this one. Without further ado, I shall reveal all. There we go, folks. It is, as you can probably tell if you're a BMW connoisseur, it's a R1250 GS. This isn't the Adventure, this is the standard model, and this is the triple black. It's an absolute beauty. This particular one, I got Barnstormer down at Alton to source for me. I'm not a massive fan of the brand new GS, so lovely bike though it is to ride, it's just not GS-y enough for me to see other videos I've made on that for more details. But I do think the 1250 is kind of peak GS. So I asked them, could they find me the best 1250 GS they could. They came up with this one. It's just on 2 years old. It's only done 3,000 miles. And most importantly to me, it's got the spec that I wanted. Most importantly, a heated seat, because believe it or not, although the TE version, which this bike is, I think all came as standard with a heated seat, they were in short supply around the time of COVID and a bit longer. There was a long period when you couldn't get heated seats. So a lot of the second-hand ones of these you see around don't have the heated seat, but this one does. So I'm dead chuffed about that. So let's take a quick look over it, shall we? I mean, you've seen a GS before, but I think this is an absolutely splendid one. Comparing it to my old 1200, which we'll talk about in a minute, by the way, there's a few differences to the headlight area around here, I notice. This one's got the spoked wheels as opposed to the you know, the cast wheels, cast alloy wheels. I'm not a massive fan of spokes. I don't go off-road. They're not my favourite. I would have rather it had gold wheels. And one of the things I would like to change is at some point maybe get some gold rims. I did check out on the BMW website how much replacing them would be, and it was something like £3 for the gold rims. I don't want them £3, but it may be that I can find somewhere that would perhaps paint these or something and get them to gold. So that's something I might look at doing in the future. If you know anyone or anywhere that can do that, or indeed if you've got a spare set of gold rims knocking about you want to sell me, let me know, because that's something I might want to change. But otherwise, I really like the look of the triple black. I just like the fact that it's all kind of, you know, muted. What else is there to say about it? Well, I've added my, I've got my little sat-nav. If you want yourself a cheap sat-nav, then I'll put a link in the corner as to how you can get one of them. It gives me Apple CarPlay, basically. I prefer that to the genuine BMW Navigator. This one has got some sort of anti-theft device around the TFT, which the previous owner put on, which I don't actually like, because it looks like there's some sticky pads in. It just looks a bit amateurish. But I've no idea how you get that off. It looks quite complicated. So if you've any idea how you go about taking that off, let me know, because I'd like to whip that off. But the TFT on the BMW is fantastic. You know, I've said it many times, but the TFTs that BMWs do, I think, are the best in the business. The seat is a bit different. As I say, it's heated on this. This looks more padded than on my old 1200. It certainly is comfy. The ride back just now was absolutely lovely. In fact, before I go on more about changes, let me just show you the first run back that I had on the bike this afternoon.
All right, welcome aboard my brand new.
Stop saying it's brand new. Of course it's not brand new. It's 2 years old, all right?
R1250 GS. I have to say, it immediately feels very familiar. This is literally my first ride on the bike. I've just picked her up a moment ago from Barnstormer here in Alton. And yeah, it's nice to be aboard. It immediately, after having ridden my Goldwing down here, it was very light and flickable. And very familiar, of course, because it's not a whole lot different to my 1200, of course. So what have I got on this that my old 1200 didn't have? Well, a few things I like, maybe a few things I'm not so keen on. When I say that, I mean the thing that I'm not so keen on is perhaps the keyless ignition. Having said that, I had keyless on the Goldwing, and I liked it on that. So maybe I'm going to grow to love keyless ignition. So that's something that I didn't have on the on my 1200. I've of course gained the TFT screen and I've always been a massive fan of BMW TFTs. I mean, I don't dislike the old gauges on my 1200, but this TFT is certainly an improvement, I think, in terms of clarity, and BMW just do the best TFTs for sure. I've course gained a little bit more of a perkier engine. I've never thought the 1200 was particularly slow, but this one definitely can feel a little bit of an edge on it. It is faster than the 1200. I gain a slightly smoother gearbox. These boxer engines are always a bit clunky when it comes to gear changes, but this being basically 10 years newer than my 1200 is definitely less clunky. So that's a positive improvement. Well, I haven't said that, I changed a second there, just see the bike leap, it's still clunky. It's not that much better. I've got OEM heated seats on this, which was something I was very specific about, because once you've sampled riding with heated seats in winter, even in summer here in Blighty to be honest, then you never want to go back. And there was a period of time with these 1250s where it was quite hard to get heated seats on them. I think there were some supply issues post-COVID and all that, so there aren't that many that have them as standard, so I held out for heated seats. So that's a gain. I had aftermarket heated rider's seat on my 1200. It never got particularly warm and it wasn't particularly comfortable, whereas this is obviously as a standard BMW seat, it's comfy. In terms of changes I want to make, I probably will get myself a low seat for it. This is the standard seat in the low position, and well, actually I'm on the balls of my feet, it's not too bad, but I've got the suspension set in its lowest setting, and I just prefer to get my feet more securely on the deck, so I'll splash out I think a few £100 to replace the rider seat on here. What else have I gained? I've got hill hold control now, didn't have that on the 1200, that's always nice to have. I've got the shift cam of course on this engine, which never made it to the 1200. Yeah, it's a lovely bike. I mean, it's not like I haven't ridden 1250s before, obviously I've done reviews on them. I rode a lot of miles in Alaska with the missus on the back of a 1250. I did a Portugal tour on a 1250. I've ridden them a lot, so I'm very familiar with the bike. I need to learn the subtleties of the TFT and how to control all that, but I can study the manual and get into all that. But yeah, overall she feels lovely, rides lovely, very familiar sound, very familiar feel. Very pleased with my new purchase. I wonder if I'll keep this as long as I did my 1200.
Okay, so welcome back to the garage. First ride on a brand new bike is always very exciting, isn't it? And of course, very familiar with the GS, so it was like putting on an old pair of slippers. But this one's just got that little bit more poke, a little bit more refinement than my outgoing 1200. Of more in a minute has, but yeah, lovely, lovely bike to ride. Now, one addition I have added this afternoon here in the garage since I bought it is, as I alluded, this top box. This is from SW Motec, and it's their Trax ADV top box. It's an absolutely lovely bit of kit. I think it just looks nice on the GS, particularly on the triple black. It being black, it just looks better than the Vario case that I'd already had for my old BMW. So I decided to change for this. It's very, very rugged and solid, very easy to mount as well. Took me no more than about, I don't know, 20 minutes to put the mount on here and work out how this all goes. I've also added this backrest, which is like an optional extra. You do have to drill into the box to do that, but they give you templates. It's very, very easy to do, and that just gives Mrs. Fry a little bit more padding for when she's on the back. I just think it looks great. The styling of it is brilliant, and it's very, very rugged. So thank you to SW Motec for supplying this to me. So full disclosure, they sent this to me as a freebie, but it was definitely the box that I wanted. And as part of the deal, they're willing to give you 10% off of anything on the SW Motec site. So if you use the code the Missenden Flyer for the next, if you're watching this the next 2 days, so this expires on Friday, then you can get 10% off of anything, as I say, from the site. I'll put a link on the screen and below to the website. So if you want anything from their catalogue, 10% off next 2 days only. All right, I've said that I'd talk a bit about my old 1200 because I know the next question that might come up is what's happened to that? You know, am I getting rid of it? Well, yes, of course I'm getting rid of it. But whatever, well, I've still got it. So let me just wheel it in for old time's sake. And as if by magic, I'm now a 2GS garage. Here she is, Old Faithful, my trusty R1200 GS, still an absolutely beautiful bike, and I'm going to be very, very sad to see this go. And before anybody asks, I have already sold it. I've got a gentleman coming to pick it up on Thursday. The sale's already done, so please don't inquire whether you can trump him or whatever. It has been sold. It's no longer my bike, but just wanted to, you know, enjoy having them both in the garage. I've got first shout on this if I want to buy it back again. Chances are I won't want to, because this bike, the new 1250, is slightly better. But the old 1200 has done me proud. I absolutely love this bike. It's the bike that really launched my channel, and I shall be very sad to see it go, actually. Somewhat, you know, it's been a strange week. I've been sad to see the Goldwing go. That was a bike that we really didn't want to sell, and I'm going to be sad to see this old friend go. It's been absolutely brilliant. It still rides absolutely beautifully. I'm taking this up to Nigel later on to get it fully serviced, new MOT, new tyre going on the back as well, so the new owner gets an absolute winner of a bike at a, well, I think a bargain price as well, especially given all the history of the bike is, of course, on YouTube. So last look at the old R1200 GS, still a favourite. You may be wondering, why am I not just keeping the R1200 if I like it that much? Well, number of reasons, but the main reason was selling the Goldwing is quite difficult. It's an expensive bike. Not many people in the country want a bike like that. And I had one or two time wasters contact me. So in the end, I just thought, you know what, I'll go to a dealer and do a trade-in deal. So I ended up going to Barnstormer in Alton, which were a pleasure to deal with. So thanks to the guys up there, and I did a trade-in for the Goldwing against the R1250 GS, and actually they gave me a bit of money back as well, because the GS was worth less than the Goldwing. I did take a spanking as a result, as you do when you trade things in, but it just made things nice and neat and easy. That's what, otherwise I probably would have kept the 1200 and gone from there. But anyway, so that's the current state of affairs. I've got myself a brand new GS R1250 in the garage. It's not brand new, they don't make them anymore, of course it's second hand. It's a sad goodbye to the R1200, but there is more news coming, because I have got another bike coming to the garage very soon. In fact, next weekend, I've got something a little bit special. One of the reasons I'm going to miss the Goldwing is because I always felt special riding it. Well, I've got another special bike coming, so there's going to be yet another new bike reveal coming. So again, put your comments below as to what you think that might be, and that will be it for the next few years. I'm going to end up now with a couple of bikes that I absolutely love, and I'm going to absolutely love riding. So yeah, any guesses as to what the next new bike's going to be, stick a message below, and you'll see that in a reveal video very, very soon. All right, that's it for this time. Look forward to speaking to you again soon. Until then, this has been the Missing and Fly. Cheerio.